we're going to amend some of the soil in our garden with some good organic topsoil. That and a whole lot more coming up today on the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener.
This program was funded by the following.
At dollarseed.com, all of our seeds are only $1 a pack. And we have online resources that teach you all about the rewarding hobby of growing your own plants, flowers, herbs, and vegetables. Imagine the joy you'll feel when your children actually help you harvest your first garden crop, or the pride of knowing you'll never need a florist again. Visit dollarseed.com and grow a little magic of your own for just $1. Dollarseed.com. What could be healthier?
Willow Springs Soap Company is a locally owned Colorado business just a stone's throw away from the Rocky Mountains. Their handmade soap is made from simple, recognizable ingredients, which lead to a more natural, earth-friendly, long-lasting, and hard bar with a wonderful creamy lather. They make soap using the cold kettle process with a specially formulated recipe of 100% vegetable oils. They use traditional methods that produce a true soap instead of the commercial synthetic alternatives that can dry out skin. Go to www.willowspringssoap.com to get a fresh and natural clean, handmade in the Rockies.
No matter where you live, you can compost year-round with the Worm Factory 360. It requires very little maintenance. As of 2010, the Worm Factory 360 is the only self-sorting worm composter made in the USA. Made with high-quality food-grade recyclable plastic with a 20-year limited warranty. For more information on how to purchase your own Worm Factory 360, visit www.lvworms.com.
The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener supports the following. Hunger Task Force believes that every person has the right to adequate food obtained with dignity. They're providing food for people in need. With their 151-acre working farm and fish hatchery in Franklin, Wisconsin, volunteers are needed daily. You could plant seeds in the greenhouse, ride the transplanter, or you can make an instant $10 donation from your mobile device by texting food to 52000. For more information on how you can help end hunger, visit hungertaskforce.org.
Welcome to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener. I'm Joey Berry. This show is dedicated to the average gardener, simple home living, and using what you already have. Well, today we're on the upper end of the garden where it gets a lot of heat in the summer and it's a very clay, dense soil. So what we're going to do about it, we're going to amend the soil with an organic topsoil to get it more basically airy, more fluffy, so the soil is better for plant growth, better for our sweet corn, and we'll get a better production. Now, why would we not mix it with peat moss? Well, you don't mix peat moss in your garden because it kills the microbial bacteria in the soil, which is what the plants need to produce. So we're going to use an organic topsoil. Now, how do we do this? Well, we can just spread it across the top and let it sit, or we can spread it across the top and work it into the soil. And that's what I like to do to get that compost kind of under the top of the topsoil, or underneath the top layer, to allow the worms to start working on it, because worms love the organic matter, and the more worms you have in your garden, the healthier the plants that you're going to grow are. So let's get started by layering some topsoil, organic topsoil that is, on top of the portion of the garden where we're going to have to amend the soil. So we're going to amend the soil up here. I've got my organic topsoil here, and just flipping this little pile over, I've got 4 worms there, and we want to increase the number of worms in our garden. And if you don't have that worm population that you want to mix in a lot of organic matter, because that will bring the worms in. Also, you can mix some worms in with your compost pile if you have a compost pile that is on the ground, preferably not in a bin or elevated, because that's the way the worms can work in and out of the actual natural soil. So let's go ahead and open the bags up here. And this is good, rich, organic topsoil. Now, with a lot of weeds here, you'll see, now I could go in here and try to pull these weeds out. I could flip the soil over first and then work the topsoil in. I'm not going to need either one. I'm just going to put the topsoil on top of the ground and then work it in together, because no matter what I do, and if you garden for very long, you know no matter what you do, you're always going to have weeds unless you're in a raised bed situation. So all I'm going to do is try to evenly spread this topsoil across. And we don't want to have a whole pile in one area, because I want to just evenly distribute it and allow it to work into the soil, so there's so it's, you know, evenly spread throughout the soil when I flip it over, just to add a little more aeration and a little more basic fluffiness to the soil. And I'll get the rake here and I'll level this off a little bit to kind of see where I'm at. So let me get all this spread apart, and then we'll come in and start flipping the soil. So all I'm doing here is I'm just taking a rake and flipping it upside down and just distributing the topsoil, organic matter, fairly evenly across the area that I'm wanting to amend. So we're just going to start flipping the soil over, and with the grass being flipped over, look at all them worms. We got a good stand of good healthy earthworms here. So this is only going to increase that population of earthworms. So with corn being planted here a lot later in Wisconsin than some parts of the country, the grass that we're flipping over will have a lot of time to compost under the tops, underground there. So let me get some of this flipped over, and we'll finish up on this portion of the garden. As you see here, there's a lot of worms in this little clump of soil, and this is one of the main reasons why we do not till here at the garden. We'll spade the garden. By tilling, you destroy all the little tunnels that these guys create. By spading it, you don't destroy as much damage, and you don't kill as many worms. By rototilling, you just destroy everything that's in its path. For instance, right there, that's a beautiful one. But there's a lot of worms here, and that's good. And we just want to increase the population of worms. Well, I flipped over this little portion of the garden right here that we had put the topsoil on. So all I'm going to do now is take the rake and flip it upside down and just basically knock the tops off to try to level it off, to get it smooth. And if I see a wad of grass that I can get out, I will, just to prevent that from growing. And it's just that easy to help increase the soil quality of your soil by putting a little organic matter on top, whether it be topsoil or compost. And this will greatly increase your production come this summer when gardening. We're up in the small garden today, and we're going to plant some radishes and some peas. Well, with the confinement of the small garden, you kind of go with the square foot gardening method. And what I've got here is, we've talked about a planting grid before, and that's what I've got. I made one out of some cardboard, and we're just going to plant some radishes very easily. And the radishes will grow in about 32 days, 28 to 32 days, so that will mature before the rest of our Brussels sprouts and cabbages will. So it'll work quite well. So I'm just going to take the planting grid and figure out where I can stash these little the radishes at. And all with the planting grid is, you got your holes that are 2 inches centered spaced, and I can plant radishes evenly and give the radishes plenty of room to work, or plenty of room to grow. Now you could do this by just taking the radishes and pinching one radish per hole, or you can actually make seed tape and tear the seed tape apart to where each little piece of tape or paper towel or toilet paper is one seed, and you could just nestle that down in the hole and you can cover it up. So you have one there. There's another one. Put a little soil on top, and when you're doing seed tape, you want them completely covered. And then the rest of them, we can just take the Easter egg radish variety here, and we'll plant some in each, plant one in each hole, and then we'll move to a different portion of the garden here, and we'll work our way around until we've kind of filled in all the dead spots to maximize our growing space. And this planting grid works well for any small type of vegetable. Radishes, you could do beets with this, would work really well. Also, Swiss chard works well with this. in the garden. So now that we've got them all planted here, and these will, like I said, mature in about 22 to 33 days, 32 days, depending what variety you have. So I'm just going to go over right there and plant some more. And what I want to do is I want to get it the soil level. And right here, we had flipped the soil over to get our cool weather plants in. And there was an onion that we had in a container that we cleaned out last fall. And it's starting to come up. So we're just going to let that one go and see what happens on it. So let me get the rest of these planted here. And they don't have to go underneath the soil very much. And you'll see these sprout if the conditions are absolutely right. 5 to 7 days you'll have them up. And you just watch them because they'll rapidly grow. And being spaced in the planting grid, they'll have ample room to grow. And they'll have plenty of space to mature their bulbs. Now you don't have to plant radishes in a planting grid. You could actually do a row, but this just works better for small space here. So now that we got the radishes planted, we're going to plant some sugar snap peas along the fence here, which will benefit us because we don't have to find a trellis. The fence will actually work as a trellis, and we can get a space in between the two posts. So let's get that going here, and we'll plant some sugar snap peas. So we're going to plant some sugar snap peas along this fence here that'll act as a trellis. And you always want to use anything that you can to enhance your growing, your vegetable growing. So we're going to use some sugar snap peas. Now there's a couple different varieties of peas. You want to plant these about 2 inches apart, and they're going to take about 60 to 70 days to mature. And peas are a very hardy plant, and they can withstand colder temperatures, not freezing temperatures. So you can get them in the ground relatively early in the spring. And last year we had peas that were over 5 foot tall and produced very nicely. So hopefully with the right conditions we can have that again. You could soak your peas for about 2 hours before you plant them to enhance the germination time. I'm not going to do that. So we got those planted. Now we're just going to cover them up. You always want to make sure you mark the row. And it's just that simple to plant peas. You can do it in a row. I would recommend you, no matter how you plant them, you want to put them on some kind of trellis beside them so they can crawl up, because they're going to get quite heavy whenever they're loaded with pods. So planting peas next to a trellis is a very easy and economic way to put produce in your garden. Whether you drink a cup of Joe in the morning to get going or not, you want to find somebody who does, so you can use the coffee grounds in your garden. Now, if you don't want to save them or don't know anybody that does, you can get a hold of your local coffee shop and request to save coffee grounds. Most nationwide chains and even local chains will do that upon request. And some will even ask you to bring a 5-gallon bucket in, and they will call you when it's full. Now, why are these coffee grounds so important to your garden? Well, they contain a lot of good beneficial additives to your garden. They contain phosphates, nitrogen, calcium, and minerals to your garden. Well, you can apply it very easily. You could use a spreader like this, but I find that it depends on how moist your coffee grounds are. They'll clog the holes up, and I don't get the coverage that I would like. So the best thing to do is go through your coffee grounds. You can take the filters out. They'll just dump them in there. These are biodegradable. You could just throw them in the garden, but I'll put them in the compost bin. And you can just take and hand spread your coffee grounds across the garden. Now you want to be careful that you don't over cover a certain area, because this contains nitrogen, which is really good for your plant growth. They'll produce really nice green plants, but very little produce. Also, the benefits to coffee grounds: it can repel slugs, because the slugs don't like sliding over that coffee ground. And also it can repel animals such as cats, if you have cat problems in your garden. So don't throw out your coffee grounds. You can also put them in your compost bin. I wouldn't put a whole bucket full. If your morning cup of coffee, you can pour them coffee grounds in the compost bin. Worms love this stuff. It really will help the organic matter in your garden. And you can work it in right away, or you can work in as you get time. So just don't throw those coffee grounds in the trash anymore. Start throwing them in your garden. We're going to plant some kohlrabi. Now, if you're not sure what kohlrabi is, it's part of the cabbage family. And what it looks like a baseball or a tennis ball whenever it matures with a lot of leaves coming off of it. And there's a couple of different varieties that there are. We're going to plant some purple ones, some green ones, and some gigantic ones. I'm just creating the row. Now, the best time to plant kohlrabi is 4 weeks before your last frost date, or when temperatures are guaranteed to stay above 40 degrees. And the optimal growing temperature is between 40 and 72 degrees. You want to plant your kohlrabi before the temperatures will max out around 90, because if you don't, and they start maturing at 90 degrees, they're going to be extremely woody and really not edible. So we're going to plant 3 different varieties in this one row. We like kohlrabi, we just don't like a whole field of them. So we're going to start with the gigantic kohlrabi. Now, the average weight of a normal kohlrabi, you may get a 2-pounder, you may a 1.5 pounds, somewhere in that area. These will get up to 10 pounds, with the world record being 62 pounds. Now, the benefit with the giant kohlrabi, they do very well in long-term storage if you store them in a cellar or basement. So we're going to go ahead and mark our row, and you want to plant these. I'm going to put them about every 3 inches, just because as they get larger, they're going to widen out, obviously. Alright, that's about a dozen plants, so that's not too bad. So we're going to put a marker there, and we're just going to cover them up with soil. Just a little bit of soil. Then we're going to work on the green kohlrabi. Same method. Now, these don't store nearly as well. You can these. We have not had great success with that. We just didn't like the flavor of it when we can them. They are very good to eat right away. And I believe also you can juice them. So let me get these planted here. And then we'll work on the purple variety of kohlrabi. So I'm just covering up the green kohlrabi. Now we're going to plant the purple kohlrabi, and it will take a little bit longer to mature than the green kohlrabi. The purple kohlrabi will take about 60 days, the green kohlrabi about 55 days. So we're just going to spread that in, again, about every 4 inches. You can make seed tape for this if you don't want to come back and pinch out the ones that are too close to one another. So then we'll just, since it's rained, we won't water them in. And you do want to kind of keep an eye on, make sure they're moist, enough water for them. And kohlrabi, it's a good, nutritious plant that you can grow that really just doesn't get the publicity that the cabbages, broccolis, and cauliflowers get. So I would encourage you to try it and see what you think about it. When planting your radishes and carrots, you can do something that'll give them a jump start, and I'll show you that in a minute. But let's get them planted here next to our lettuce here. Now I got my row marker, and all this is a rake with wood dowels on it to do 5 rows at one time to make the planting go a little quicker. So we're going to plant several things here. We're going to plant some champion radishes, some icicle radishes, Easter egg blend radishes, and some red scarlet carrots. Now when it comes to planting them, you just want to be about 1/4 inch below the surface. And as you can see, if you can see the rows here, it's very easy. Now I can plant all 5 rows very quickly, cover them up, mark them with our window blind row markers, and keep moving on. A very quick and easy way of doing this. So let me get them planted, and then I'll show you the tip that will help get your plants off to a good start. All right, now that we've got our radishes and carrots planted, one of the things you can do to give your radishes and carrots a jump start is coffee grounds. Coffee grounds contain nitrogen, which is the base of the plant growth. So all you want to do is take the coffee grounds out of your coffee maker and just sprinkle them over the rows that you planted before you cover them up. And if you don't have coffee grounds, you can go to your local coffee shop, and most of them will save the grounds for you for no cost. so just give a little sprinkle for them. Now, with your carrots, if you have problems with them not growing very deep because of the denseness of your soil, you can double dig your soil, or you can add amenities to it such as peat moss or organic topsoil, or you can plant them vertical. Come over here and I'll show you how you do that. Another way to grow carrots, vertically, well, sort of. Take a bucket. We've got a 12.5 gallon bucket here that had a busted bottom. Now when you choose a bucket, you want it to be a bucket that had food grade material in it, and then you want to cut the bottom off of it, and we're going to put it in the ground here. Now, I already pre-fitted the bucket for this corner here. I dug down about 6 inches to nestle the bucket in the bottom, and we got some compost or organic soil here that we're going to fill in the bucket to get the carrots to grow better. So we fit that in nice there. Now, if you don't have a bucket available, you could run to your local hardware store and pick up some 4-inch PVC pipe and stick those in the ground and fill them with potting soil, and that will allow your carrots to grow much longer and bigger too. Or you can find this. I wouldn't recommend using this if you find this along the side of the road because you don't know what it was used for, whether it was used for sewer pipe or whatever. I would just purchase this if you want to go that route. So with the bucket, we want to fill this with soil. So we've got some good black topsoil here, organic topsoil. So we're just going to fill the bucket in here. That puts it almost there. Let's get a little bit more. Oh. Now I'm not going to fill this all the way to the top because I don't want it, when it rains, oh, there was a carrot there. I don't want it to flush out the top. And that was also the point of cutting the bottom off of it, was a lot of the water to flow through the bucket. But this is nice loose soil that our carrot seeds will be able to penetrate through and have nice long carrots. So we're going to plant these red scarlet carrots here. And just like you would plant in the ground, I'm probably going to plant 8, 10 of them. And you want to space them so they have plenty of room to grow. So we'll get the set here. Put one there, one there. Now one of the things you want to be aware of when doing it in a bucket is the soil is exposed, or it can be warmer, so it's going to evaporate moisture quickly, more quickly. So you want to be aware of the moisture level in the bucket, and you might have to water it more frequently than you would other areas of your garden. So there you have it, another way to plant vertically when using a root crop. Well, that's all the time we have. Hope you enjoyed the show as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. And mixing some organic topsoil or compost into your soil of your garden can greatly increase the productivity of your plants, and you'll have a much better harvest than in years past. And start saving those coffee grounds, whether mixing them in your compost bin or tossing them in the garden. For all of us here at the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener, I'm Joy Baird, encouraging you, take a child gardening and start growing some memories.
This program was funded by the following.
At dollarseed.com, all of our seeds are only $1 a pack. And we have online resources that teach you all about the rewarding hobby of growing your own plants, flowers, herbs, and vegetables. Imagine the joy you'll feel when your children actually help you harvest your first garden crop, or the pride of knowing you'll never need a florist again. Visit dollarseed.com and grow a little magic of your own for just $1. Dollarseed.com. What could be healthier?
Willow Spring Soap Company is a locally owned Colorado business just a stone's throw away from the Rocky Mountains. Their handmade soap is made from simple, recognizable ingredients, which lead to a more natural, earth-friendly, long-lasting, and hard bar with a wonderful creamy lather. They make soap using the cold kettle process with a specially formulated recipe of 100% vegetable oils. They use traditional methods that produce a true soap instead of the commercial synthetic alternatives that can dry out skin. Go to www.willowspringsoap.com to get a fresh and natural clean, handmade in the Rockies.
No matter where you live, you can compost year-round with the Worm Factory 360. It requires very little maintenance. As of 2010, the Worm Factory 360 is the only self-sorting worm composter made in the USA. made with high-quality food-grade recyclable plastic with a 20-year limited warranty. For more information on how to purchase your own Worm Factory 360, visit www.lvworms.com.
The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener supports the following. Hunger Task Force believes that every person has the right to adequate food obtained with dignity. They're providing food for people in need. With their 151-acre working farm and fish hatchery in Franklin, Wisconsin, volunteers are needed daily. You could plant seeds in the greenhouse, ride the transplanter, or you can make an instant $10 donation from your mobile device by texting food to 52,000. For more information on how you can help end hunger, visit hungertaskforce.org. The show never ends on our Facebook page, keyword Wisconsin Vegetable Gardeners. Like the page and continue the discussion there. You can now follow us on Twitter, see what we're up to and what we're doing at the garden. The address, the W-I Veg Gardener, G-A-R-D-E-N-R. You can email us at the WIVeggardener@gmail.com with your questions, comments, or suggestions about the show.